It's your friend Kinsey here at the Flocking Farm. Today, let's talk about this gardening project.
Where there's a will, there's a way, and I have a will! Hey, I'm Kinsey. I'm a crazy homesteader with a lot of ambitions. I like to talk a lot, and I'm a little goofy, but I'm passionate about intentional living, and I love my family. This is our story at the Flocking Farm.
I had all the best of intentions of filming a beginning to end garden transformational video for y'all. But as it currently sits, I have 165 gigs of footage that I need to sort through. And that does not include the video that you're watching today, which is day one. That being said, because of the monstrosity of this project and the amount of footage that I need to sort through, this is going to have to be a several-part series. Today, what we're working on is bringing you along the journey of day one in the garden process. All that being said, let's get into today's video. As promised, I am picking up soil. Hey, here we are. We are at Tractor Supply. I am picking up the temporary fencing because I know it's just going to be, we have so much work that we need to do on the other fence and I need to keep chickens out of it. So this will be something super easy I can throw up myself. I had a neighbor who has all sorts of plants that she's looking to rehome. And so she was asking me, hey, do you want this? Do you want that? And I'm like, does a one-legged duck swim in a circle? I'm gonna get me some rhubarb, some tomatoes, a couple of other things. I think there's some raspberry, maybe even lilacs. I don't remember everything that's there, but I'll be taking you along that journey. So let's get to it. Change of plans. Gal that had the plants for me has something going on, but I'm gonna swing by tomorrow and grab the plants. We're gonna go ahead and head home and start working on some planter boxes. Provided it's not raining, it looks pretty overcast right now. I don't mind working out in the rain, but I want to have Elisheva with me in the pack and play. So if it's pouring down rain, we probably won't do it this evening. We'll see. I'm gonna call my father-in-law to see if he has a table chop saw that I can borrow. I was able to swing up to my brother-in-law's building site. All of the building we did last year when we used the chop saw, we used my father-in-law's chop saw and it was up at the building site. So I snagged that because my father-in-law is on a weekend trip right now. I called my brother-in-law too, just to double check. And I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. So my brother-in-law was like, yeah, it should be fine. I think it's up there. So I went and picked that up. Perfect timing too, because if he is on a weekend trip, hopefully I can get 2 to 3 boxes built today so that by the time that he's back, either tomorrow or the next day, then he can have the chop saw back and I won't need it anymore. Anyways, here, I'll show you this guy. That's kind of what we're looking at. I mean, it's a little overcast. It feels like the relative humidity is fairly high. So I think the storms are brewing, like it's in its build-up phase, and then it's probably going to dump on us, which is not fun because then my house is going to flood. But there's nothing I can do about the roof situation, so I'm going to focus on the things that I can do, like build my garden boxes. Here's the haul. We have borrowed chop saw, temporary fencing, weed barrier fabric. Don't peck me. Weed barrier fabric. Perlite, they didn't have vermiculite, but it's very similar. Manure, peat moss, and then cat litter, but that's just for inside. I like to get these big things of cat litter because when I'm done with the totes, I cut the lid off and I use those as brooding boxes for my ducks. It's one of the only things that has worked so far. I really like using those, so that's why I buy that particular type of cat litters for the thing that it comes in. I tried the 5-gallon round buckets from like North 40 or Home Depot. They did not like them. They like these square little buckets, and I'm buying cat litter anyways, so it's multi-purpose. Also, Rooster's hanging out with us. Hi! Still haven't named him. If you saw my last video, you would see that I asked for name suggestions. At the time I'm filming this, it's only been a day since I posted that last video, which is why we haven't decided on any names. I'm curious to see if we get any recommendations, any votes of that kind. And then there's Namer. Kitty, 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 kitty. Hi. Okay, so I just brought the pack and play out, put it over here, but unfortunately, I am feeling some raindrops. So I'm thinking I want to work out here. Dang it. I'm not going to set the pack and play up right away. I think I'm just going to put that inside so it doesn't get wet. While I'm waiting for hopefully the storm to pass, I'm going to take a look at my weather to see how long it's supposed to last. Okay, so tools, potting soil, all that stuff is covered. Hopefully the storm doesn't last very long. Let's grab Elisheva. Are you ready to go inside? Okay, let's go inside. But while I'm thinking about it, because I just finished in town, I'm so excited to try this. It's a little foldable potty cover, seat reducer that doesn't look ridiculous. I really don't like graphics. So I was really excited that they had this folding travel potty, perfect for on the go. We do EC, so I've been doing potty training. I use that loosely, potty training from birth. I actually have pictures of her meconium in the potty, which is super cool. EC stands for elimination communication, by the way. So that was kind of a fun find. I'm gonna put that on our main potty because I think that's super dope. Hey, Huckleberry! What'd you up to? Looking at the weather right now and it's not great. It looks like we're supposed to get scattered thunderstorms until about 5 o'clock. I mean, I hear it rumbling out there. What I think I'm gonna do is let Elisheva play in here, put a baby monitor on her, and see what I can get cut in that amount of time. Because I really only have the one day to have the chop saw. So I also have a tent that I could put up because it doesn't look like the wind is supposed to be that bad. I have like a shelter that I might be able to put up. Guys, I really want to get those garden boxes done. So let's stop talking about it. Let's get out there and figure it out. I've got you on my gimbal now, so it should be fairly stabilized, but it is a brewing and I've got stuff that needs to get done. So here's the plan. I am gonna go grab a rain jacket. No. Aha! Okay. All right. Then I have this tent situation. Okay, so I've got the tent thing and my coat. So I'm gonna go set this up on the concrete. I also have sandbags. I haven't used them in over a year, but I think I still know where they are. In fact, I see them. This old wooden bench that I was gonna, this is going, I'm gonna get rid of that, but you can see in there, there are the sandbags to weigh down the feet in there. Where there's a will, there's a way, and I have a will! I love how often my chickens come in and out of frame and in and out of frame while I'm building this thing. My birds just make me so stinking happy. This took me back to when I was running my own business. I could not for the life of me remember what this was called. I kept calling it a tent, but I think it's technically called like a canopy. I used to set these up back in the day when I was running my business. I would go and do booths, and when I had an outdoor booth to stay out of the sunshine, I would set one of these bad boys up. I mean, they're not terribly difficult to set up, it's just a little time consuming. You'll probably notice later in the yard that there's one of these that's completely destroyed. That's because someone else brought it so that they could shoot at our property, left it up, and the wind blew it down, which is why I have sandbags. We have our first sandbag here. Let's get these on feet. These sandbags help to weigh it down so that if the wind catches it, it doesn't take off with it or destroy it. But I will tell you, we did have one of these that we destroyed because we left it up, and then the first snow came and completely crushed it in. So I have gone through one of these by myself before, but they're so stinking handy to have, especially in the summertime or in the rain if you want just a little spot outside to get some work done. I guess I should probably show you what I'm working with. I'm finding my sizes are varying fairly dramatically. For garden beds, I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. So this is my pile. You can use anything in this pile. My husband was working with friends on a mill, and these are like the butts of the logs from the mill. To me, that's the perfect size garden box, but it gets way thinner on the other end, and there's not very many of those. They're more like this size, these sizes. So how deep do garden beds need to be? Well, I think I'm just going to sort these into piles and see what I have, because I'm not getting a good idea of what I have by it sitting here. So let's do that. All right, step one, sort. Decided to switch gears really quick and come in because one, my phone died and I couldn't film, and two, I wanted to get a jump on wherever it's going to leak so I can get my buckets going, because it'll rain for a couple minutes and then I'm going to have Winnie the Pooh time all over my house. So I'm switching gears. I'm going to let my phone charge. I also need to figure out how many boxes do I want to make and how much soil do I have. I think I'd like to at least start with 2 4 by 8 foot beds, so I need to figure out how many cubic feet that is. While I'm inside trying to figure out when it's going to start leaking and where, I'm going to go ahead and do some math and figure that out. I think I have the lumber sourced that I want to make these beds out of, but I'm going to do a little bit of Googling too on how deep my beds should be. Stay tuned. It rained a little, but has mostly passed. Haven't had a drop in the house yet. I'm hoping it stays that way and that's all the storm we're going to get. But regardless, I have enough charge on my phone, so Elisheva just got pottied, fed, and is now down for a nap. So get it. Okay, found a Sharpie and a speed square. This project was very special to me. It reminded me a lot of my childhood and working with my dad. I joke often that I grew up in the garage because him and I were always out there working on projects together, which is the whole reason why I even know how to operate a chop saw. I mean, it's not like they're very complicated. You just have to be vigilant about making sure limbs and fingers stay away from spinning blades. But it's working out there and all of the projects that him and I did together that gave me the confidence to be able to utilize these power tools by myself, and thereby gave me the immense sense of pride in being able to tackle this type of project and build things by myself. And that's all thanks to my dad. So shout out to him. I am so excited that I was able to utilize that knowledge and bring it into my adult life. You'll also see here, I'm using an old suitcase as an end stabilizer. It is not a perfect system, but this suitcase I was giving a bit of a second life to. It used to hold my dress-up stuff. I have a Viking costume that I like to dress up in now and then, and pin-up attire. I used to be competitive with pin-up. But because of the flooding in the house, that suitcase that was holding all my dress up was underneath the bed and molded. Luckily, the clothes in there were fine, but the suitcase was on its way to the dump. So I'm using it here as an end stabilizer. I like to do this so that with these longer pieces of wood, as you cut them, the weight doesn't fall down and pinch the blade of the saw.
That's why you see me using different end stabilizers here.
Now they warn about context switching and how you can't be as productive when you context switch, but I think I'm gonna do it anyways because what I should do is finish cutting my second box and then work on putting them all together and getting the fabric on it and la-di-da. However, I don't know if I'm gonna like the design, or if there's something I'm gonna want to change, or if I go, well, that was dumb. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the box together, complete a box. I don't even have enough soil for 2 boxes anyways, but if I like the completed box, at that point, I'll cut the second one because I want to be done cutting either today or tomorrow before my father-in-law gets back and needs the chop saw. I want to put the first one together though to see how we like it. I think I'm going to screw it together, which means I need to find screws, a drill, and a drill driver so I can drill pilot holes so that I don't have any splitting. See if I can get a hold of my husband because he would probably be the one to know where the screws are. That's a box of screws. Full of water. They're not as long as I would like. That's better. I want like at least 3-inch screws. Ooh. Now that's what I'm looking for. But I need a bunch and I only see like 1, and here's another one. I can probably get enough to tack it together. So I have at least 4. We can start with that. Sound asleep. She's got the goose next to her. Got a trusty hammer just in case. I'm thinking I might need this because I'm gonna staple the weed barrier fabric to the bottom. And then I'm just gonna bring this in case I need to pound some extra staples in. Boom, boom, shaka-laka, laka-laka. I don't know why I did that. Stapler, box cutting knife for the fabric, extra staples for the stapler, scissors in case they work better than the box knife. I need like a tote to carry everything out in. Isn't that why I have a toolbox? What's in this toolbox that I don't need? Let's look together. A lot of this is for refinishing furniture, which I don't do that frequently, so I can probably put this in Betty and then have a spot for it. Like these are for raising furniture so that you can paint or stain to the bottom of the furniture without hitting your floor. So again, this is like refinishing stuff. Betty is the storage unit shipping container that's out there. If you missed it in one of my previous videos. They're sticks. I obviously have not used them frequently because they're covered in dust. I probably am just gonna want to throw these away because you're not going to want to put all of that dust inside of paint. So those should probably go. Painter's tape. I use this frequently, but I don't necessarily. This can probably go on my desk. Probably does not need to be in my toolbox. Oh, I did not know that this was in there. Hello. This can actually go in my desk because I have a home for that. That just got put in the wrong spot. I had one of these in my car. It came in a big pack. I liked it except for the fact that it did not wear well in the weather at all. I might try it again. If it doesn't work, I'll toss the rest. That's what I'll do. So I'm going to put those in my desk for now. Mini level will go in there. Phillips head, flathead. Why is this one like absurdly long comparatively? I don't understand. No idea what that goes to, and I'll probably never need something that big, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in Otto's toolbox in Betty. These all go in here, which it looks like the tape on that just opened. Oh my goodness. I think I have all of them too. I do. Okay. I don't often need them, but when you need a little screwdriver set, you need it. Okay, good. I am going to find a little container for these to put them back in there. So give me just a second. Random bits. Like better than bouillon container. I'd save all glass containers because I love glass everything and decanting. But I'm thinking it can be more than just those. It can be like larger ones too. As like a placeholder, a catch-all until I sort through it and put it away. Something like, I don't know, my plumber's tape? Yeah, like a small little catch-all. Oh, that feels good. That needed a good little declutter. Good. All right. Let's do it. I think I'm gonna build it down there, so because it's gonna be kind of large and awkward, I don't want to break it taking it down to where the garden area is gonna be. I think I'm gonna use this table out here as my staging station. In addition to building this, I'm probably gonna have to come out here with the weed whacker and weed whack a spot for my garden bed to go and then kind of rake it up. One step at a time. Let's get this built. You want to hang out on this little hill with me? What do you think? Why don't you hang out on the hill? Yeah, I think this would be great if you hang out on the hill. You're a little crooked though. I don't really know how to fix that for you. Can you handle being crooked? Not like you're bad. Yeah, now you're not so crooked. Woo! I did not want to take more than one trip. So none of these are perfect. Almost all of them bow. I'm gonna put the bow on the inside since it's gonna be full on the inside. It's gonna want to push out, and if I put the bow in the opposite way, I'm hoping that will encourage the boards not to bow out. I'm not even treating these. I'm not doing anything with them. This is meant to be imperfect. I know that they're gonna rot and that I'll have to replace them, but I have not done my research on stain seeping into the food. So I'm not using any type of sealant. And again, this project is literally, the purpose of this project is to be imperfect and to be okay with that. So we're just gonna go ahead and use what we have, and it might not even be perfectly square. And that's fine. If it gives me a place to put plants, that's the goal for this year.
Okay, I have no idea what I was thinking here trying to build it on the table. I quickly realized that that was hugely impractical and that it was going to be way more effective to build on the ground. My chickens decided that it was a mini roost for a hot minute. Now, the weeds here create quite an optical illusion for the eye. It makes this ground look far more level than it actually is, which generated a number of problems for me. The first being, even though these boards, none of them are the same size because they're all imperfect boards from the mill, I still wanted to try to get them to be as flush as possible, and doing that by myself on uneven ground proved to be a bit of a challenge, but we still pulled it out.
The idea is I want them one side by side, 3 feet apart, so then I can do cattle panels over the top, do an archway so like my tomatoes and stuff have something they can vine up. Because I'd love some indeterminate tomatoes. I just learned this fun bit of information. You have determinate tomatoes and indeterminate tomatoes. Determinate tomatoes are more like a bush. They don't necessarily need something to vine up, but they have a determinate growth and amount of tomatoes that you get, whereas indeterminate tomatoes keep growing and keep producing as long as it's nice out. That kind of sounds like I might want indeterminate tomatoes, but I'm getting free tomatoes tomorrow, so I have no idea what type they are. We'll see. Next step though is to get the weed whacker out here so I can clear a spot for my garden bed. Safety goggles. Probably should have been wearing these earlier when I was cutting, but I wasn't, so don't follow my example. Let's get to it. It appears fuel might be the issue, but the fuel is all the way out yonder way, if we have any, where we were building the fence. So I'm gonna leave you for a minute, go see if I can find it, and we'll try this again. Heavens, Betsy. Now the gas is like 2 acres away. I don't know what that translates into feet, but we have it. Woo! All right, let's fill this bad boy up, see if we can get her to start. I usually enjoy weed whacking. It's just annoying when you're not able to get your weed whacker to start. I was trying everything. I ended up calling Auto 2 to make sure that I was pulling the choke properly and that I wasn't missing something and that I was priming it. And whew, I mean, this is another thing. I did a lot of weed whacking as a kid and I could not get the stinking thing to start. Take a second and breathe. My glasses are fogging up. But on the plus side, it's pretty much just a free workout, you know? I mean, I was getting hot. It was getting sweaty. All right. Gonna get eaten alive by bugs. I have that stubborn, how hard could it possibly be? I'm not gonna let this stupid piece of equipment break me gene. Do any of you have that? The stubbornness can be a blessing, but it can also make you blind to trying to work smarter, not harder on occasion. So, you know. My hands are so sweaty, my hair is sticking to them. All right. I have yet to do a video on my story, which will be coming up in the future. I just gonna have to figure out how I want to format that. But for those of you that know me, you know I was in a lawnmower accident as a kid, and I think it's the height of irony that my favorite chore growing up was always mowing the lawn. Is that not just irony at its best? Weed whacking isn't quite the same, but it comes in close because one of the things I love about it is that you can see your progress so clearly as you're going, and like you have this innate sense of order that you're adding to your environment as you go, and you can see it. Every different line that you take on the mower or a swipe you take with a weed whacker, you can see the progress that you're making right in front of you, and I love that about treating the lawns. That's why I told Otto, I need a lawn at my house eventually that I can mow. I want a mini, it doesn't even have to be big, but I want a mini little yard because I want to have a lawn that I can mow since I love mowing the lawn. I can only imagine what it was like as my parents. They're like, oh my God, you want to do what? You want to go mow the lawn? Really? That's your favorite chore? That, my friends, is a start. Got me a place to put a couple boxes. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, the ground is super uneven. So, we'll figure it out. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Okay, I think we are in for... What is going on here? I think we're in for the day. Ellie Shava woke up. Hello, Pumpkin. What's up, Squeaker? Huh? Ellie Squeaker! Hello! Shalom, Ahuvi! Starting to get dark out anyways. I need to get some food in me. I'm really excited about the progress I made today. My biggest concern right now is how unlevel it is and if I can even really find a spot for my box to go. That sounds like a tomorrow Kinsey problem. We are gonna eat some spaghetti and hang out and watch some YouTube and get after it again tomorrow. My goodness, there will be much more in this series. This was just day one. But I did want to say, I know you could have been anywhere and you chose to spend some time with us today. We really appreciate it. I know the film quality, especially in the beginning there, as I'm doing my errands and filming kind of on a whim, the quality is not great, but I am learning as I go, and I still want to bring you along that journey. So as we continue on, I'm working on improving my filmography skills and audio skills. I think the biggest part for me, as I'm noticing going through my footage, is I often will think and turn away as I'm talking, and then the audio is garbage. Thank you for being patient with me. I so appreciate you spending some time with us today. And I look forward to continuing on this journey of showing you what we managed to do with the garden as we go. I'm sure you saw in our new beginning intro clip that I was working in the garden because I edited that clip now that I'm on the other side of a lot of the garden process. So that footage is kind of in the beginning get to know us clip, which is kind of funny because as you're watching this video, you're not seeing the finished garden, but you see it in the beginning clip. I don't know. Like I said, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Would you be terribly opposed to hitting that subscribe button and leaving a comment down below? Let me know what you thought of today's videos. If you have any tips or things that you saw that would make my life much easier if I had more knowledge in my brain of how to run a garden. My paradigm for this year is let it be perfectly imperfect. I've already won because my goal was to do more than I did last year. I could get 0 yield, which ideally we want to get a yield, right? But I could still get 0 yield and feel like I won this year because I did something. While I'm posting out these garden videos, I usually post every other week. But I think because I have so much garden footage that I'm going through, I'm going to go ahead and post once a week. I'm going to say that in this video because if I don't, I won't hold myself to it. And in my last video, I said I was going to do my garden by the next video. And sure enough, I did. So this is a great way to keep me accountable. But until I get through all this garden footage, I'm going to go ahead and start posting 1 video a week. And then we'll kind of see how we adjust from there. Maybe I'll keep it up to 1 video a week. We have a lot of projects going on in the homestead and a lot of things to continue updating you on, so I have content. I just gotta set some time aside to edit it and put it out there for y'all. But again, if you have any tips, tricks, comments, please leave those down below. I look forward to seeing you next week in the second day of Project Garden. And until next time, as always, don't be afraid to live out loud, and we'll catch you on that flippity flop.